So in today's video, I'm going to be looking at the idea, is there life on other planets? We'll be extending this over a number of videos about consciousness and extending consciousness across the universe. So first up, is there life on other planets? So we live in a huge universe. I mean, we all know that. I mean, it's 100 billion galaxies are in the observable universe. It might be more, you know. And each one of those galaxies has over 100 billion stars, you know. If I had a penny for every star in the universe, I'd be a very rich man, wouldn't I? But it's pretty amazing that it's such a huge place. I mean, when we start getting these figures of the scale, it's inconceivable to us. But with all these planets, and many of them in what's called the Goldilocks zone, because a lot of these stars have planets, and we're beginning to find a huge number of stars have planets. And some of them, they're in the Goldilocks zone. That's the area where it's just right, you know, just right for life. It's not too hot, it's not too cold, it's not too lumpy, you know, where there's a certain area of the orbits of a sun where water can exist in such a way that life can be present. And if all that's in place, anywhere in the universe, it's pretty likely, isn't it, there's going to be planets in that perfect zone, in the perfect position for life to form, and with abundance of water in the universe, then it's pretty likely that there's life on other planets. It's preposterous, really, to think that there's not life on other planets. You know, there must be, you know. The weirdest thing would be if there isn't. You know, that would be even more conceivable, to think we're alone in the universe. But I'm pretty sure in my bones, just by logically thinking, that there's life on other planets. And another thing that I think is also very interesting that the scientists talk to us about sometimes is that the universe appears to be sort of constructed in such a way that it makes it kind of like a conduit for life. You know, like life has to exist in the universe if it's all designed for life to appear, you know. I'm not talking about intelligent design here. I'm just talking about from the concept of purely looking at the way the universe is constructed, you know. It's like if any of the laws of nature at all, or physics come to that, had been slightly different in any way whatsoever, then life could just not happen. It would be impossible. I mean, if, for example, like the strength of the gravitational field, or the gravitational force, as it were, that's what they would call it, isn't it? If the strength of the gravitational force was fractionally different, you know, nothing could form, you know. And same too of the electrical force or the mass of the subatomic particles. I mean, if any of that just fractionally changed, you know, matter couldn't appear. It just couldn't exist. We couldn't have the universe we've got. You know, it just wouldn't. You know, and it's possible for all those things to be altered some way, to be slightly different, and it just wouldn't happen. You know. So even right, we go back to, like, they talk about like the Big Bang, don't they? You know, and even if that, they say, had been slightly different, you know, and that, the universe appeared, they reckon, in milliseconds. You know, boom, suddenly it was there. You know, because this huge force happened. But if anything in that first formation of the universe changed in the slightest way, then again life and even existence as we know it would be different. So it seems that the universe is kind of designed for life, as if life was meant to be here somehow. They call it the anthropic principle, the idea that the universe is here and somehow everything in the universe is kind of designed so that life can exist, as if the universe kind of in a way knew that life had to come along. You know, it knew the end of the story as well as the beginning. So it's quite an interesting idea, isn't it? And also there's this thought too of the multiverses. You've probably heard about this, I'm sure you have, that there could be other universes out there that aren't anthropic, as it were, that aren't designed for life. You know, I talked about all these 100 billion galaxies and things, but how many sort of galaxies as such would exist in these multiverses? And in those multiverses, perhaps the laws of physics there would be completely different. You know, we take it for granted that, say, time goes in a straight line. But what if time could do something different, like go sideways, or not exist, or that a universe could exist without form, or space, or a universe could exist without gravity, or with something that we don't even conceive, something, something like a gravity, but it's not even conceivable in our terms. We can only think in terms of the universe that we understand. But if these multiverses exist, maybe they have life in a different form. Or a thing that makes me think too is, could consciousness be the common denominator through all these universes? Not gravity or light or mass or anything like that, or time, but maybe the common denominator is consciousness. So I think physics is missing something there. So it may be, going back to the idea of this universe here, though, because it is pretty likely that intelligent life has flourished somewhere in the universe, even before we got here, because we've not been here that long. The universe has been here a long, long time, even though our evolution was massively long. There could have been intelligent civilizations appear billions and billions and billions of years ago, way before the dinosaurs, and maybe new civilizations will occur billions of years in the future, But that's assuming, and there's a big if with all this, because, if you just look at the history of our own life on Earth, we've nearly destroyed ourselves already so many times, haven't we? I mean, early history, we could have wiped ourselves out. I mean, the plague could have wiped us all out, couldn't it? It could have finished the world off. I mean, everybody was dropping dead of the plague. It could have killed everybody in the end. But even worse than that is the invention of technology. I mean, because we seem to have a propensity to design killing machines right the way back to the early times. And what if we were to develop a nuclear bomb? Look what happened with that. We nearly could have wiped ourselves out in the Second World War because things got really out of hand there. What if Hitler had got the nuclear bomb before the Americans? It could have happened. It was a very close call. And what if the Cold War had turned nasty and we thrown nuclear bombs at ourselves? Or what if in the future, small countries with the nuclear bomb, like say there became a war between Pakistan and India and they start throwing nuclear weapons at each other and others got involved, or Iran starting to get crazy with it, or South Korea, I mean, all the time we're in this position where we don't know how far civilization can progress, because technology might stop intelligent life progressing. So we don't know if intelligent life can get any further to the point where it could, say, contact and make interstellar space travel possible. It might just be, the odds of it happening might just be too remote. And, and we don't even know what other weapons of war we might develop in the future, all these things that are happening with virtual reality, all these things that are happening with genetic modifications. What if anything like, what about these experiments with germs and things like that? What if any of these things got out of control? We could easily wipe ourselves out. And similarly, alien life could have wiped itself out. So that's the first thought. Perhaps there are limits to how far life can progress. So that's the first stage of this discussion about life on other planets. And don't forget, my book, Messages from the Universe. I look into all my philosophical ideas in there. The thoughts about, what is time, what is the universe, what is consciousness, my descriptions, and sometimes funny stories as well about, my experiences as a medium and my work with Jane as a medium. So check that out. And also, don't forget to follow us, subscribe, click that little bell. And if you like my work, come and have a look at our website at psychics.co.uk. You can book readings with me, with my wife Jane, and with our team of psychics that's available right now all over the world. You can call from pretty much every country. So, thanks for joining us. Thank you for supporting this channel, and thank you for supporting my website. It helps me to do all this. So wonderful to see you again. See you soon. Stay happy. Bye for now.